like to know that they're asking real questions. So I look at an interview as being sort of two ways. I'm interviewing you, I want to see, are you a good fit for my firm? You should also be looking at it and say, is this a good career fit for me? Is it the right type of culture? Is it the right type of work that I want to do? So I want people to ask genuine questions that are their burning platform. They usually take the form of something that's very good. So ask me, what motivates me in my job?
So let me jump in real quick. So how often do they ask you that? I mean, if you look at 100 job applicants, out of 100, what percentage actually say, tell me about yourself, you know, were you a recruiter? Why'd you do what you did?
It's amazing when I ask them to ask me real questions, how they put away the script and actually start asking me things. But I think it's actually a little calculated. The ones that come to the interview prepared are the ones that usually have the best questions because they've thought it through. And they know that as part of this interview, I'm going to have to come in and say, what I'm saying in response to the questions is important. Just as important is the preparation that I'm showing on the back half of the interview, which to me is, that's the fourth quarter of the game. That's where you can win or lose, and that's your way to sort of close out and really show someone that you're going to finish strong.
So let me ask you, because you will ask them, hey, ask about me, but how many of them proactively come in and ask in an interview, even at the end when given the chance, ask about you to learn about the recruiter?
Interesting. I actually rarely get that, and it seems to be that the ones that would be the most prepared for the interview would start to think about what's the third dimension of the interview. There's what I need to know about the job itself, but then who's behind the scenes? There's a recruiter there that's working, there's me who's the interviewer. That's an interesting way to sort of think about how can we be more prepared, who all is involved in this process, not just the person you're sitting across the table from.
It's really important, especially at the end of the interview when you get a chance to open up maybe and the floor is a little bit open. A good interview will actually ask you, do you have any questions for me? And that's your time. It's game on time.
It's game on. So I've heard some interviews tell me that students have said, no, I really don't have any questions. You've answered everything. When you see that, what does that convey? What would you suggest students do?
Well, other than the awkward silence it can sometimes create, because most interviewers have created a couple minutes for you to ask questions, I would actually say there's good questions and there's great questions. It's really an ability for you to advertise, for the candidate to advertise maybe some skills we didn't cover during the interview in a way that's also a smart question. So a good question is something like, what challenges have you had in your career that working at, for instance, Deloitte, and how has Deloitte helped you along with that career? That would be a good question. A great question would be a little bit of a plant on something you didn't get to cover, a strength of yours that you then want to twist into a question. So something like, as a candidate, you might say, you know, I have a real passion for data analytics and I've worked with this tool set. What kind of opportunities would I have at Deloitte to really grow that career set or grow that skill set into my career and bring that to your clients? And that would be something like a great question, because I would remember that and I'd actually answer the question about how you can apply a skill you have in our company and in our marketplace.
So that's great.